Honda Company earns almost $4,000 every minute. Today, it makes bikes, cars, private jets, and even robots. But surprisingly, all this started with a poor boy who didn't even have a cycle in his childhood. The story begins in 1906. Soichiro Honda was born in a small town in Japan. His father was a blacksmith and his mother worked as a seamstress. His financial condition was very bad. It was so bad that he couldn't even provide basic medical care to Soichiro's 5 brothers and sisters, and lost them in his childhood itself. One way to get out of this condition was to study and get a job in the future. But unfortunately, Soichiro was also very weak in studies. But there was still one hope left, and that was machines. As a kid, Soichiro used to go to a rice mill with his grandfather. The specialty of the mill was that a petrol-powered motor was used to work there, which was very rare at that time. The sound of the motor, the smoke coming out of it, and the smell of petrol seemed very fascinating to him. And seeing this motor, he developed a passion in motors and machines. At the age of 11, something happened with Soichiro that gave his very passion a life-changing direction. For the first time in his life, he had seen a car. Soichiro was fully mesmerized by that car. As soon as he saw that car, without a second thought, started chasing it. When the car stopped at a distance, a small amount of petrol leaked under it. He literally bowed down and smelled the petrol and put it on his hands. And at the same time, he decided that one day he'll make his own car. In the year 1922, Soichiro saw an ad in a magazine. There was a garage in Tokyo called Art Shokai which was looking for workers. In those days, repairing cars in a garage was a dream job for Soichiro. So without any delay, he applied for the job. And luckily, he got hired too. He quit his studies, and just at the age of 14, in search of his destiny, started heading towards the city of Tokyo. Soichiro was very happy. He was finally going to work on things for which he was passionate for years. But the reality was something else. From the very beginning, the owner of Art Shokai assigned Soichiro the task of cleaning and babysitting. Months passed, but he was not even allowed to touch the cars. He was now losing hope. He often thought of leaving the job and going back home. But he only stayed back because after this failure, he didn't have the courage to face his parents. In 1923, there was a major earthquake in Japan. The Great Kanto earthquake. Entire Japan saw massive destruction. But surprisingly, this very earthquake proved to be lucky for Soichiro. After the earthquake, most of the mechanics of Art Shokai returned to their villages to repair their respective homes. Now the garage was only left with Soichiro and one more employee. So finally, the owner had to hire Soichiro for car repairing. Not only was he now learning car repairing, but he also got a chance to drive motorcycles and cars for testing. Everyone was surprised to see Soichiro's work. He soon became the best mechanic there, and he kept getting promoted regularly. Meanwhile, the popularity of motorsports was increasing in Japan. So the owner of Art Shokai asked Soichiro to assemble a racing car. Soichiro took the second-hand engine of the American Curtiss biplane. Using the body of an American car named Mitchell, assembled a racing car. This car was named as Curtiss. In the 1924 Japanese Motor Car Championship, this car participated and got the first position. In this race, Soichiro played the role of an accompanying engineer. This was a special experience for Soichiro, and after this, motorsports became Soichiro's new obsession. But he had no idea that this obsession in the future would prove life-threatening for him. In 1928, Art Shokai decided to open a branch in Soichiro's town of Hamamatsu, and on a partnership basis made Soichiro the in-charge of this store. The same Soichiro who a few years ago was not even allowed to touch cars. Everyone hoped that Soichiro's shop would become an instant success. But the exact opposite happened. This shop failed miserably. Soichiro was only 21 years old, and no customer wanted to give the responsibility of his car to such a young boy. So customers would just not come to his garage. To stop the garage from closing, Soichiro needed to find a solution as soon as possible. He observed that other garages failed to repair a car many times, or they used to call the car impossible to repair. In such cases, it was only Soichiro who guaranteed to repair those cars, and used to actually repair them too. Because of this, he developed a strong reputation in the market. In the next few years, his shop grew very fast. In 1931, when he turned 25 years old, every month, he was earning a profit of 1,000 yen, and he had made a team of 50 people. During this time, Honda not only started assembling race cars again, but also started taking part in racing tournaments. By 1936, they won many races, and started seeing his future career in motorsports. But then a terrible tragedy happened with him. But before moving ahead, I want to tell you about something that can make you rich. All the successful entrepreneurs on whom I have made videos, there is one thing common in all. They all in their lives, knowingly or unknowingly, make 5 such sacrifices that make them rich. In July 1936, while racing, his car met with a major accident. When Soichiro opened his eyes in the hospital, he was feeling acute pain in the whole body. His face was badly injured. Left shoulder was dislocated and wrist was fractured. Sadly, Honda had no option but to leave racing forever. It took him full 18 months to recover, and during this time, he decided to start automobile parts manufacturing. He was now going to manufacture piston rings. Piston rings are an important component in cars, and at that time, it was also in a lot of demand. He gave the responsibility of the garage to his employees and in 1937 established a company named Tokai Seiki. He hired 50 new employees and bought a lot of expensive machines. He had no experience of making piston rings. That's why his family and friends warned him against this business. But Soichiro didn't agree. He opined, "If I see something only once, then I can make it. I can build anything if I see it just once." He started working with his workers day and night in the factory. Many months passed and all his savings started to run out. Ultimately, to keep the factory running, he had to sell his wife's jewelry. But even after all this, he failed to make a proper piston ring. Finally, Soichiro realized that he didn't have sufficient knowledge to make a proper piston ring. That's why, at the age of 31, he got admitted to Hamamatsu High School as a special student to study metallurgy. He applied his learnings in the factory. And finally, in November 1937, he made an acceptable piston ring. In the next 2 years, he was not only successfully supplying piston rings to Toyota and other companies, but also started making parts and machinery for the Navy. By 1940s, he had set up a massive plant and his business was growing very fast. But then comes a major twist in the story. It was the time of World War II and Japan and America were fighting each other in a war. One day during the war, American fighter jets bombed from the sky and badly damaged Soichiro's plant. He was just recovering from this incident, but in 1945, a major earthquake occurs in the Hamamatsu area, and his plant gets completely destroyed. After the war, his years of hard work and his country both were ruined. He had come back to zero. Soichiro sold his company's remaining assets for 4.5 lakh and took a break from work. During this time, he got a Japanese army generator, which the army used to run its wireless radios. After examining the engine, Soichiro came up with an idea which laid the foundation of today's Honda company. Actually, after the war, there was an acute shortage of fuel, due to which its price went quite high. That's why most people had to travel everywhere by cycle. Soichiro's idea was to motorize this same cycle. For this task, in 1946, he started the Honda Technical Research Institute. Using his skills, he modified this military engine and fitted it in the cycles, which ultimately made way to an affordable motorcycle, and it also became an instant success. But there were 2 problems. First, he had only 500 military engines left, but the demand was very high. Second, even the military engines ran on petrol, and petrol was very expensive. To solve these problems, Soichiro designed his own engine. But then comes a major twist in the story. It was the time of World War II and Japan and America were fighting each other in a war. One day during the war, American fighter jets bombed from the sky and badly damaged Soichiro's plant. He was just recovering from this incident, but in 1945, a major earthquake occurs in the Hamamatsu area, and his plant gets completely destroyed. After the war, his years of hard work and his country both were ruined. He had come back to zero. Soichiro sold his company's remaining assets for 4.5 lakh and took a break from work. During this time, he got a Japanese army generator, which the army used to run its wireless radios. After examining the engine, Soichiro came up with an idea which laid the foundation of today's Honda company. Actually, after the war, there was an acute shortage of fuel, due to which its price went quite high. That's why most people had to travel everywhere by cycle. Soichiro's idea was to motorize this same cycle. For this task, in 1946, he started the Honda Technical Research Institute. Using his skills, he modified this military engine and fitted it in the cycles, which ultimately made way to an affordable motorcycle, and it also became an instant success.